Okay, so yeah, continuing with smarter goals, where are we up to? So we said that the acronyms for SMART is specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and time. So now with achievable, what you want to see, obviously the goal has to be like humanly possible. That's obvious. Otherwise, you're not going to be able to achieve it, no matter how much work you put in. And if it is achievable as a goal, what you've got to see is based on your own exercise history, how what you need to do in order to achieve that, and then there has to be a realistic breakdown of that goal, because if you're doing it over a certain time period, you may not be able to achieve a 4-hour marathon the same time that somebody else has got a longer running history. Like if somebody's been running marathons for a long time and it's their fourth marathon and they're going for a certain, so if someone's run like loads of marathons and this is their third or fourth one and they're going for a 4-hour time, it's going to be easier for them, most likely, based on their exercise history, if someone doesn't have the same level of experience. It's not saying that obviously it's, if you base it on exercise experience, because somebody else may transfer from a different sport and have good endurance and be able to adapt to running, but most likely the likelihood is that if you're coming in fresh and you're trying to do a sport that somebody else has been doing, the level that you can achieve the same task is going to be harder, because if you're trying to do 3.5 or 4-hour marathon compared to someone who's a seasoned marathon runner, you can't set the same times for that certain target. So that's certain things to look at when you're looking at what's achievable, realistic, and setting it within a certain time frame. Now, and that should basically allow you to assess and judge your time frame better as well, because if you're setting a weight loss goal and the aim is 0.5 kilo or 1 kilo per week of weight that you want to drop, but you're going to aim for something like 10 kilos in 3 weeks, and you haven't exercised in the last 6 months, that's going to be extremely difficult. And you got to ask yourself, like, for a motivation factor from a scale of 1 to 10, how likely is it that you're going to do what is necessary in order to achieve that goal? And if you're required to be in the gym 5 days a week, reduce your calories, and to achieve a goal that won't be sustainable, then the question is, how realistic is it that you're going to motivate yourself to achieve that task? And that's another thing you can do whilst you're setting your SMART goal, is to ask yourself, as you start to set the targets from a scale of 1 to 10, how likely is it that I'm going to continue to work towards this goal? And if it's not above an 8, 9 or a 10, if you're not going to be that motivated, then it's most likely that you're not going to maintain doing the actions required. So that's certain things to look into. Also, once you've kind of set a rough SMART goal and you look at whether it's realistic and you can time that, and you've set a certain time frame, that's when you want to start to evaluate, is from a scale of 1 to 10, how likely is it that you're going to do certain tasks to achieve that goal? So then you should start looking at breaking down the tasks required. So that's going to be a whole nother discussion as well, because there's going to be certain behaviours you're going to need, and whatever the likely behaviours that you need to achieve the goal, you need to also break those down over a time scale. So it's going to get a little bit more detailed in how to break down goals, because I'm going to start talking maybe more about specific goals to set. For example, if you've got weight loss goals, how to set those. If you've got strength target goals, how to set those. And I think over the next couple of weeks I'm going to go into that, because otherwise it's a little bit abstract for me just to keep talking about having SMART targets and things like that.